It's June 1st, and I'm sorry. I want to apologize to everyone who's expecting more May updates. But I kept coming out here and the shop was closed because I couldn't coordinate my time quite right with work and all the rain that was happening. Couldn't really get any lawns mowed, so I'll try and go through as best I can. I've been working on the cab, working on the firebox, and they've been working on finishing putting the tubes in. So there's no longer a pile over here of tubes to look at. They're all inside the boiler now. First, I want to show you how they've been doing in the firebox, the Boilermakers. Look up there. You can see the siphons are going in, and gotta have them welded in pretty soon. There's a piece missing on this one. You can barely see it because the light is, even though the light is on back there, the light's still shining in from the doors because it's morning. We had the other light hooked up, probably get that hooked up soon, and so you can see that. But as you can see, both the bottom portions are in on those, and the top portions are being worked on. They cut the holes and they mounted those in there, so now they're hanging down. They gotta officially attach them together by welding, and the arch tubes will go in the smaller holes to go up into the back wall here. But as you can see, if you look closely, the tubes are coming out of the tube sheet. This end they're not protruding as much. We gotta finish rolling them in there and weld them in place. We'll go down to the other end and I'll show you inside there. Here are the new arch tubes, which will be put in those holes that I just showed you in the firebox. Those were outside last time I did a video. Got some more parts here. A reminder, 75 is doing trips, well, it's going to be doing trips next weekend. I messed up on the lawn. I was trying to do it every couple of weeks, in between the runs that we've been doing. And I forgot we had an off week so we could fit in as many trips into June as possible. So the lawn will look nice when you get here. And we got some more parts. There's a sandblaster, some brake equipment for the pasture cars. And I want to show you over here. They finished the throat sheet, put in the bolts for the throat sheet. They still haven't finished the crown sheet because they're working on the siphons. So until the siphons are all the way in, they won't be finished with the bolts in there. But the throat sheet is now done. Okay. I also want to mention that we had a donation of paint, so all our paint needs are going to be taken care of. Once I get the rods down the other side, I'm going to be putting the macro epoxy on the boiler, and it will all turn black. It won't be gray anymore. We'll paint the primer on the firebox portion of the locomotive once they're done with that, and then all that will turn black also. Now the sandbox, since that's an outer portion, that's going to be painted with a different paint, as will the dome and all the jacketing when that gets done. As you can see, we also put on the covering, the jacket covering for the front end here, where the pipes are, steam pipes, so you no longer see in there. It also gives it some protection from the work they're doing here on the front. And the door is still the same. We still got it cleaned off, so we can repaint that. Meanwhile, here's all the rest of the parts that are looking to be put back on, but they're being sorted out, and I think some of them need to be sandblasted still. As you can see, we got part of the running board on there, and we got the turret where the steam goes in and separates for all the different appliances, and that's covered by a box in front of the cab. That's that thing you see that's usually on the front of the cab. That's what's inside of it. And we got the stoker here. It's pretty much all finished. We gotta move stuff out of the way and get it all done under there before we slide it in under place under the cab. So that's why it's all covered. Don't want anything in it. Got the trackmobile detached because we had the scaffolding up, so when they mounted the tubes in, last time I was in here, before I had the camera, I probably would have done that for you, but a lot of people do a lot of things showing the tubes protruding from the outside of the locomotive. If you check our Facebook page, you'll see that. And it's just a mess. I couldn't have gotten in there anyway. So, yeah, I'm going to try and do another video on just going on the inside there and show you all that. But I can do that now, just to show you that they're in there. Because as you see on the other side here, all the tubes are gone, except for a few that we had extra or that might be needed as replacements. So now this track is getting freed up again. Might be able to bring another car in here once we get the sandblasting pile done. And we're still working on the engineer's side rods. They moved a bunch of stuff in the way to try and get out of the way of the tubes. So even if I had been here, I hadn't been able to work on it as much. We got them off here. We broke a come-along trying to get the rod away from it, so we just had to use the chain pull again to mount it up there. It's mounted up on that bracket on the boiler, and we had it to drop down and pull it away a little bit. Once we get more stuff down the outside here, we're going to pull these out. I'm going to get them cleaned off, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully once the inspection is done, they'll be okay. But as you can see here, we have a lot of gunk on here, built up grease that I had to dig off just to see what I was doing. It was pretty difficult getting it off here. Just move it back a little bit, and it wasn't going very far. Tried to oil it, and nothing was happening. Finally, Bill Byers took a wrench and loosened the nuts down here, so that we could see what was going on. A bunch of water drained out from the piston, so then the pressure was off of it, and we could get it to move back and forth. So this part here, you can't really do it with your hand very well. But yeah, we used a big bar to push it back, and it happened pretty easy once we got it going. Pushed it all the way back and got the main rod detached, the drive rod detached from it, and tried to clean out the large pieces of gunk. You can't see that because the light in here. There we go. We'll adjust it. Yeah, so we even got, well, we got all the pieces off, and we're going to clean it all up and see what we can do from there. Then, we got the valve rods ready to be cleaned, and we'll see how long that takes us. They look pretty good. Just get them cleaned off. I don't think the brass is cracked anywhere on there. Here's some of the other small pieces that go in. We got them all separated and in order. Hopefully we don't forget where they go. See the little bits where it's been heat tampered, probably from overheating a little bit. That obviously goes on the inside, so we should know better. That shouldn't really affect it, the little bit that's been charred, but we gotta keep an eye on it, make sure it's gonna run right. We got the pipe here that comes from the feed water, laying it out. That noise you hear in the background is the turntable, of course. Moving stuff, cars around. I'll show you out there on that. Got the crank pin, the eccentric rod, and all that in there. Here's a bracket for the throttle that's getting ready to go on. I gotta get it up here. Once all this thing gets done, gotta paint and then mount that up there so we can get the throttle rod back on. It's really coming together. Now, give you a sneak peek at the tubes on the inside. You're gonna get a little noise if we just turn the air on. So looking at that, see the tube shape. So the tubes are kind of protruding out. Yeah, here. And except for the top ones, they're not all the way in, but these ones at the bottom are. They're going to be well to nose, and so all the tubes and flues are in the boiler right now. And we got the superheater tubes outside were moved out of the pile they were in, and we got to have the hose put in them, run water through, make sure they're not leaking. A few of them we tested in before winter came, did leak, so we're going to have to do some repairs on those, but we're going to run the water through the rest of them, see how many more we need to repair. Now, so there was a lot going on. I worked up to the cab there. I'm going to show you in that in a moment. First, I want to show you the connections that have been put on here in the last month. We got the inspirator type injector here under the cab, and got the valve opening and the pipe fitting. Pipe fitting will have the water run through here and down the tubes on the truck that go all the way down to the front of the boiler. Then the valve opening, we need to cut a hole for that and run it up into the cab and do that. This here is the bottom for the brake stand and all the attachment fittings that go on that. Need some brass to come off that and run to the tanks and to the compressors on the front end. Yeah, and then we got the pipe attachments, and we got the air valve sitting on that with all the attachments for what they're doing inside the firebox. So I'm not going to remove it for you to see, but you can see the big pipe here. That'll be the water pipe that runs. The hose will attach here and run up into the tender and bring the water to the injector. The injector uses steam to force water into the boiler from this end. It's pumping it out the pipe, and I believe this is the steam attachment, and then here's the water pipe. The water goes up and then into there. Yeah. And this here, this little attachment, this like tailpipe kind of thing, is the water overflow for the injector. So if there's too much water, there's not enough pressure to get into the boiler, it comes back out this way. Because otherwise it would just go back into the tender, which isn't a bad thing, but it's already been heated. So what also comes out besides water is a little bit of steam from the injector. So you want to try and get as much pressure into the injector to force the water into the boiler, because otherwise the pressure will just force it back either into the tender or out the tailpipe here. So all that's been attached. Here we have the manifold controls that will go on in the cab. These are mounted on the bars. They'll actually be mounted like this. Got the cylinder cock, the injector, the Dynamo 1, mechanical lubricator, all these other ones down here. I believe this one's the main shutoff valve. All these rods, these are going into the turret that I showed you over there, sitting on the crate, well, on the tracks, underneath the crate that has the stoker on it. And this opens all the valves inside there, allows steam into those different portions. Over here we have one of the old thermic siphons. I guess they're getting more measurements off of it. Might be taking pieces of it apart. And afterwards it'll be scrapped for money. So will the other one. But we saved them for a little while just in case we need to do anything else with them. And of course we have more parts to be sandblasted, and here we got the brake shoes waiting to go on. Scrap pieces. This is the cab door on the side here that goes on there. It's been all primered and painted. ready to go on. Why we have this is an access. We can take it off there just in case we need to get on any parts, like the stables, if we need to fix any of them that's in the cab itself. That way we don't have to take the whole cab off there to get at them. I'm going to show you up in the cab now. As you can see, the cab floor it's been fitted up there. We had to cut some of it. We got to cut some of it more on the other side there. Push the cab sides out about as much as they can go. So now we got to cut the rim off the edge here, and then we'll grind it down, and then we'll put the trim to hide that, just like it was before. We got some bar stock over there that we got to cut into place and bend to the right shape. Here's the tunnel extension for the stoker. That's going to fit into place underneath there and connect to the tender. Just got to get it all fitted up there. Once we're done, mess around underneath there with all the other stuff, because that's a big part, and once the tender gets on there, we'll put it all back on. Doing some truck work. We're going to be selling some of our parts. We need to raise about $60,000 more so our benefactor can get us $50,000 more. He wrote us a check for $50,000 to get the boiler work done. Now we need about $100,000 more. Raised over about $40,000 the past couple months doing fundraisers and events. We're looking to raise about the same amount or even more in the next couple months to get that done. So we're selling most of the junk we're not using. So this is a wheel assembly. We had some trucks, and we got some wheels from next door. We're gonna try and sell some trucks, get some money off of that. So we need more donations, but we're gonna try and make up for it any way we can. As you can see, the cab's really coming together. We got the firebox doors on, and they work. And we're trying to make sure we got all the things in. We can get the floor drilled out as much as it needs to be, not anymore. So you can put the wood planks in and all the tools and attachments. Here's the brake stand. Here's the engineer's seat, and again, that's just for placement. It's going to be up on boards a few inches, so it's going to be a little bit higher. And then we're going to have the buddy seats here on the ends, sit behind the engineer and fireman. Took the control out for the headlight, and been trying to clean out the conduits. All the wires were covered up with all these caps on here, so we wanted to make sure that was okay. Got some new sheet metal in here to replace what was on the front, because it was getting pretty bad. I don't think we're going to replace any of the rest of this stuff. It's in a lot better shape. And we got the cab is fully attached now on the front end here. Got the studs in, holding on the bars, and of course the bolts are hanging on to the brackets on the front end there. These bars here are what's going to hold on to that manifold control that you saw down here. So they'll basically hang off. That part will basically hang off these things. And we got a parts diagram using this picture from a builder. I don't know if that's the same. This says 1155 on it, but it looks pretty much similar to how it would have looked in 1941, back when this engine was built. Now, when I come back through and with the light, I'll do another video on this. But yeah, it's starting to look kind of like the picture. Everything really coming together. So here's the stoker control valves. We got a cover for those specifically. Unlike you see in the picture, that this thing is not covered in here. We got a cover for that now. I'm not sure if it's outside or not. It was. Yeah, there it is. That part right there will cover the stoker valves, so that'll protect it from damage. So it's really coming together in here. And if you want to see it firsthand, come out next week or every other week that we're doing trips with a 75, or just every weekend in general this summer we'll be out here, even when the 75 is not running. So see, it's kind of got stuff all over it because we're trying to work on the engine while it's not running. So we're getting a lot of stuff done right now. And I'll do another video on what's going on in here. Go over all these parts, as well as on the front end, show you all the tubes in there. And they just fired up the Mighty Mouse. They're going to be moving some cars around. Okay then.